is a First Amendment issue, because this cannot be reasonable that they say we can't express ourselves. What does that even mean? Like, if I juggle this, is that expressing myself? Like, if I juggle these two things, and I just juggle these out here, am I doing an expressive thing? Like, if I talk to people about First Amendment rights?
We're not here to argue.
No, I'm asking you.
Are you guys gonna move, or
okay, I'm gonna take my, I'm sorry, because I'm getting worked out. I want to ask you one question, and then we're probably gonna break it down and go so we don't deal with a fine or getting taken in and our stuff in permanent.
Is there a different frequency than ET?
But I just ask you one question.
I just heard ET, I'm just making sure it's not our frequency.
Because you guys do have more important things to do. I know you've got actual crime to deal with and violent criminals.
Go ahead.
The question is, if I were to stand here and juggle these two pieces of paper and talk to people about First Amendment rights and, you know, maybe dance, would I be in violation of the ordinance as well?
Under the Port Ordinance, yes.
So we're down here on the San Diego waterfront today, and hopefully it's a good and positive, interesting kind of day, but it could get to be a weird kind of interesting day because they've decided to pull some of this bullshit down here now and just check out what they think is the way they think is appropriate to designate our public space here. This is where they say expressive activity can happen, and this is quote-unquote commercial activity. Now, when we just came out here before we saw this sign that they had even done this, and talked to a neighbor out here who's gotten hassled with this new law. Oh, I guess these two are expressive activity as well. Well, wow.
Yeah.
He said he received a citation the other day.
Yep, and
Yeah.
they're criminalizing me for doing this, bro.
Yeah, they gave him a ticket. They gave him a
with
ticket
this,
for
bro?
stacking rocks.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I kick him down before I go.
this gentleman's out here all the time bringing positive energy. I've seen him before working his love out here, and he does nothing but positivity. And he's got a ticket a couple weeks ago, I guess, right?
Yep.
They just said for stacking
messing
stones
with their property.
Their property. Yeah, it's ridiculous. They just started this. They started enforcing this new thing. When was it?
I think it was May 1st. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're just we're down here, and we're all together.
All of humanity.
All of everyone.
All of humanity is together. What's going on?
Not them. The whole world is together.
All of humanity.
Yeah.
Alright guys,
Uh-huh.
so, real quick, there's a new Port Ordinance that controls this expressive activity.
Interesting.
So for right now, you guys are not in expressive stall.
Is this public space?
It is a public space.
Oh.
But
Okay. Just checking.
I can actually show you the Port Ordinance and the district map where these sort of activities are permitted. So you can come in here and just set up anywhere.
Even though it's a public space.
Correct.
What brought you over here? I'm curious.
It was a call generated to come out here.
A call generated by who? Your supervisor or something? Is that people are like on? I've just noticed people are kind of looking around at what's going on out here.
So, guys, really quick, I don't want to give you a citation. I just want to make it quick and easy. You guys need to move into a space, and that'll be the end of it.
Yeah.
I don't want to write a cite.
Yeah. Well, I don't want you to do that either. What brought you over here? You said a call. So, like a call about what? Like, what did they say was
An
happening?
ordinance violation.
Or just an ordinance violation? Meaning that what was part were we violating?
An expressive activity, not in a allotted expressive stall.
Interesting. Hardly ever heard anything like that before in my life. You, Joff?
No.
Now, I know you're out here as the messenger, my friend, so
I can actually show you the Port Ordinance.
I'll take a look at it. I know you're out here as like the messenger, so I'm not going to try to debate you on this. I do, as a human, want to. What's your name, Bart? I'm Alex.
My first name.
Hector. Just on a human level, Hector, because I know you're doing your job, and you know, like I'm not going to try to convince you. Although obviously we want to be here. The reason we picked to be down here is because there's other people down there, and we're going to be courteous, and so. Well, ultimately, Hector, in this country, we do have the right to express ourselves in public spaces, and that is what we're doing, is expressing ourselves. And I know that's not a debate I'm going to have with you, but you need to understand on a human level that sometimes these ordinances are really a violation of our rights. I know you've been charged with coming out to enforce them or to just give information, but unfortunately, it's possible for ordinances to get pushed through that later get found to be unconstitutional, but in the meantime are still run around. And we have experienced this kind of thing in other cities, and now they're no longer enforcing that in Santa Cruz, the last place we dealt with this.
So this is going to be like the section that explicitly speaks about.
That's cool. Well, I'll check that. Are you calling us a commercial thing or expressive activity? It's interesting you lumped those together. Not you, of course.
No,
Can I hang on to this?
It's my company. But you know what? Yes,
Mind
you
if I hang
can,
on to it?
you can hang on to it.
We're doing a special report, so it'd be nice to have some extra information. It's good to know what's going on out here because ultimately I just want to, again, as a human, because you've delivered information now, so cheers, thank you for that. I appreciate it. This entire space, because after we set up, to try to give some courtesy, we actually talked to another gentleman out here and noticed that there was some signage at the end there that delineates where people can be with expressive activity. And out of this entire zone, as I'm sure you already know, let's actually find the map.
It's not going to be in there. It's its own separate.
Do you have it? Let's check it out.
Actually, do.
Let's check it out.
So the one for right here. Bear with me.
It's fine.
Okay. So this is designated area 7. So essentially,
Right. I checked out the, go ahead.
so each one of the blues is a paid commercial spot, and each one of the greens is an expressive stall. This is going to be considered expressive. Those green stalls are first come, first serve, and it has to fit within the allotted space, which are 10 by 10s.
Right. Okay. So,
So for right now,
Yeah.
this would be outside of just an expressive stall altogether. The first fine for that is $250. The second fine is $500. Third fine is $1,000.
good to know. So,
Just
go ahead.
like I said, guys, I'm not here to hassle you guys. It's just a really quick. It's an ordinance violation.
Yeah.
Newport ordinance. Whether it's fair or not, it's not for me to say.
No, I know it's not for you. That's why I'm just trying to communicate. No, I know, but it is. You know, it is a larger human conversation because this is the whole conversation gets up. It's like people are saying, well, they're just doing their job and stuff. And like the cops, and you're not a police officer, you're a harbor police. Are you like a sworn community service officer? You probably have not sworn an oath to uphold the constitutional rights of the citizens, correct? You're just an unsworn officer.
Unsworn, yes.
Yeah, unsworn. It's interesting. That's what they tend to do is use unsworn officers to enforce these kind of like tentative ordinances because it's a lot easier for them to have less
Well, guys,
culpability when they haven't had sworn officers out.
Well,
dealing with that.
I want to deal
That's
with you
my side point.
I want to deal with you myself. I have my sworn officers right there waiting on standby.
Yeah, I see.
Just
Oh,
in
let's get a
case-
shot of them over there hanging out.
Just
They
in
come
case,
over for the
guys.
conversation. Yeah.
It's because they're not experts in this. It's just
No, I
I'm the
know.
one
I know that's
enforcing.
really unfortunate that our law enforcement isn't more well versed in our constitutional rights, and that when ordinances like this happen, that they're not actually going to city council going, what are you guys doing passing this law violating the citizens' rights? We've sworn enough oath to uphold those rights, and now you've made an ordinance where you've taken the public space, and this is what I want to just extend to you on a human level. Look at this. This is all public space out here, correct?
Again, like I said.
But
this
is it?
sounds-
I'm asking you a question. Is this public space out here? This whole grassy area that we're on?
Yeah.
It is, right? So when you look at this and you see what they've done here and eliminated this entire area, and by the way, this is only commercial, so you're saying commercial things can happen, but expressive activity can happen in a public space. Well, that's a whole separate interesting kind of an issue that they've cooked up, and I'm not putting that on you. I know you didn't write this ordinance, but when you see this entire area, and you've said you cannot express yourself here.
You
As
can.
a citizen, okay, go ahead, you can.
You can.
But-
The only thing we control is the time, place, and manner of when it is expressed.
Right. Well, that's a very professional answer, and I know that that's how they try to justify this, but I would be interested to see how they justify that for health and public safety, which is why the restrictions need to be in place. They have said that this entire area is unsafe for people to express themselves in. That's ridiculous to me, and I'm not trying to convince you. I'm extending, Hector, we're there on a human level out here, dude, and I appreciate your time, because I want to talk beyond your badge, because your badge is just this, and we're not going to get in here with this. We would have to go to court and deal with that, or sue the city, or both, and all those things are on the table, but like what they have done here is nuts. And for you, just on you don't have to answer, but I want you, Hector, to just hear what I'm saying. And like, I'm not an unreasonable person. I'm not saying we should be allowed to just set up in the middle of the freeway, or it's all just, but when they take this much public area and say this entire area, not only can you not express yourself, you can do things, but only if it's commercial in our public space. That is really troubling to me that that's what they have done. Oh, we got some sworn police officers maybe coming through here.
Yeah.
We are sworn. You guys sworn police officers?
I'm sorry?
Are you sworn police officer?
Yes.
You've sworn an oath to uphold the constitutional rights of the citizens of this country.
Right.
Right. Well, that's what we're talking about. Because it's just, you know, concerning to me that, like, the city, and I know it's not you guys.
Understood.
So very much on a human level here, I know you guys.
Got it.
But, like, it's wild that all of this space, they have said that that's all it can be, and that the commercial can be, but expressive activity can't. As people who have sworn oaths to uphold constitutional protections in the country, that you're telling people, like, we came down here to be courteous to the other people because the only zone is, like, over there next to them. It's like we're trying to be courteous. I haven't heard, were we a problem other than that we weren't in the space?
It's not for me to say.
Well, you said you was called in as an ordinance. What part were we violating? Were we violating any part other than the location?
Expressive activity, not in a allotted space, not within a 10 by 10 space.
Okay. So just ordinance. So in other words, no person has complained. We haven't harmed
As
anyone.
I have not heard any, this is characterized as a noise violation at this point.
Yeah.
So if you're in the space, if there's a space available,
Yeah, but it's right over by those people. Do you see why this? And I know this isn't, but like, I'm just so you guys understand what we're now having to deal with, and for some feedback, because I don't know if one of you goes to city council meetings and chimes in sometimes, but this is a problem because taking all of this space and telling people, like musicians, especially, you have multiple musicians, they can't set up within 10 feet of each other. That's like a logistical reason I'm giving here specifically. So I'm not just, I'm not just like willy-nilly, like, I'm not just trying to bitch.
The board appoint commissioners. This, like I said, this is a trial system. This iron out those things.
Well,
but at this point,
right. But I'm letting you
regulated-
guys know this is why this is a bad system. It doesn't work.
And
it does not
Give
work.
your feedback to the board. Right.
Well, give it to the port, and I'm going to give it to you because you're here now,
Right.
you know, loaded up with all your accessories. So, like, you know, you guys are.
We didn't get to weigh in on this.
You guys are
either.
the. I know you don't. And it's important to mention that because people a lot of times they do. You know, they see us getting. You know, they call it hassled
command, I'm
by
sure,
you
has.
guys, and they go, "Oh, those cops are fucking with you." And really, you guys get sent down by a supervisor that calls in a complaint, and then I've been through all this before.
Right, but I'm sure our command had something to say about it too.
Well, apparently we were just outside the space. So it's like if there was human beings that had like a legitimate grievance, or we were actually a problem, hurting people, habeas corpus, all that kind of fun shit, that would be easier for me to like work with if we were, community campus for everyone.
All right.
But
so the officer here, what do you need to do? Let's get this going.
Well, he told us to go over there, but the other thing is, like, if we go over there, it's going to be very rude. It's going to blow up what other people are doing.
You can choose to do it or not.
It doesn't allow us to really be out here. So if we, so
that's it.
You guys are charged with enforcing that. How does that go down? Like, for instance, if we decided to like just protest this ordinance at this point and stay here as a protest,
then he'd be issuing a citation.
A citation. I see. Yeah, and we have to go to court and deal with it, you know?
Yeah, again, like I said, none of us want to be here dealing with this.
I know, it's too bad. Well, that's why I appreciate you just honestly taking time for a second to get some of the feedback, because I don't need you to like confirm it. I'm not trying to like rope you into agreeing with me, but like, honestly, I don't think I'm being unreasonable to point out that's because this is supposed to be,
and that's what the feedback
this is supposed to be according to them for public health and safety. That's the reason that you can restrict people's First Amendment rights. I am aware of time, place, and manner restrictions. I have been to court before, so I kind of get this to a degree. I would be interested to see how they quantified that it was necessary for public health and safety to have this limited amount out of all of this green space, these green zones, and that this can only be commercial in our public space. Excuse me?
All for them to take.
I know, but it's also for you guys because you're here
not at this point.
enforcing this.
We have other stuff to do, so I just need to know what we're doing.
I don't know. Well, we're still figuring it out. We're just talking it through.
We're
just
You're gonna break it down and go over there, or go home.
Well, I'm talking it out.
Okay.
I don't know. This might become a protest at this point. We need to decide what we're doing. You know, I'm just trying to extend to you guys so that you understand where we're coming from. You know what I mean? Because
so now it's his decision. What are we doing here?
I'm gonna put the ball in your court. Do you guys want to move, and then we'll be gone? If you guys want to protest, I'll give you the site, and we'll be gone as well. What do you guys want to do?
Here we are again.
I don't know. This is, it's like this. Here's what the reality is. We got through a couple. I don't want to deal with it, today. I've had enough going to court right now. We need to get ahead, and so this sucks. And so we might need to break down, and that's really unfortunate. And it troubles me that we can't now express and share ourselves with people, and they can't come out and do this community canvas. And I know this isn't beyond you guys, but like the human part of you don't have to agree with me right now. Honestly, think about this, that this sucks. And for whatever amount of persuasive ability you guys have, you are charged with upholding our rights. And this kind of shit, later, I want to show you something. Just getting some paper out of my backpack. Don't be sketched out. Check this out.
These are court cases, landmark court cases, and almost all of these initially, they go to traffic court and they get found guilty in their municipal ordinances, and then ultimately through the appeals process, they go up to the higher courts. And since the lower courts don't want to deal with First Amendment issues generally, you have to go through appeals, and it's a pain in the fucking ass to do, and you have to basically be a lawyer to do it. And almost all of these cases started out just like this on a local ordinance. It was in some trial, and they got ticketed, they got found guilty even in the first place in the lower courts. They had to appeal it, and then finally the higher court says, you know, all of these findings. I'm not going to go through them all right now. But this is the history of what happens in this country, and this is constant. We've gone through this in Santa Cruz. They have boxes on the ground of free speech zones and all that crap. Cities try this, and now they're not enforcing that up there because they got taken to court a few times. But it's like, we're not just like, you know, pipe smoking hippies out here. We're also,
we understand your concerns.
Civil rights activists, and like this is a problem. And since you guys are charged with upholding our rights, you need to hear us that we're telling you this is a First Amendment issue, because this cannot be reasonable that they say we can't express ourselves. What does that even mean? Like, if I juggle this, is that expressing myself? Like, if I juggle these two things and I just juggle these out here, am I doing an expressive thing? Like, if I talk to people about First Amendment rights?
We're not here to argue.
No, I'm asking you.
Are you guys gonna move, or
okay, I'm gonna take my, I'm sorry, because I'm getting worked out. I want to ask you one question, and then we're probably going to break it down and go so we don't deal with a fine or getting taken in our stuff in pertinent.
Is that a different frequency than ET?
But I want to, I just ask you one question.
I just heard ET, I'm just making sure it's not our frequency.
Because you guys do have more important things to do. I know you've got actual crime to deal with and violent criminals.
Go ahead.
The question is, if I were to stand here and juggle these two pieces of paper and talk to people about First Amendment rights and, you know, maybe dance, would I be in violation of the ordinance as well?
Under the port ordinance, yes.
Maybe we should break down, and that's what we should get our citation on. Do you see kind of that you would tell people that? Because what is the are these people not expressing themselves? And I know this is now not court, but do you see how absurd this is?
Are you going to get excited or are you going to clean up?
No, I know
All
we're probably going to.
You don't have to sit here and talk to us and preach.
Well, all right, but I mean, does it like
fine.
no one's being hurt? We're gonna probably break it down. It's gonna take a minute. Like,
Okay, we'll take a minute and do it. All right.
All right. Well, I am. But
Okay,
like,
thank
isn't
you.
that ridiculous that if I juggle these and talk? Well, thank you for even agreeing with me. I appreciate that.
All right.
You know, cheers, guys, and stay safe out there, because I know you do have actual dangerous shit to like help us with. So thank you for your service.
All right, well, take care.
Get on it out.
Show him some respect too, okay?
I've been trying to. I wish you'd swear an oath to uphold the Constitution and do like you guys did and go the full way with it.
So, not to be rude, but I
Take
can I
care.
get my map? Because it's actually
Oh, I thought I could have it. You said I could have it. We have that on camera.
the ordinance, but not the map.
No, the map.
Is there not other maps that are for people to
It's all
take?
right. Listen,
Yeah, guys, I'm not really just out here trying to make a big deal out of it. That's why.
but it is a big deal when you just tell us we have to. Like, it's not effective that we can be out here now, because that's ridiculous to go over there and like blow it up over there right next to those people. So you basically are telling us, so we can't be out here. So it is a big deal. Do you see what it is to us? To you, it's not a big deal because you just roll up and you do your thing and you're just on your way. But to us, it's our lives.
Could I just get the map?
I'm still just checking it out just a little bit. Thank you. This is the
online?
whole area. Let's get a shot of a couple of these.
Well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna let you guys keep it, all right?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
All right.
He wants to roll. Cheers, buddy. Another day in paradise. I think it's good that we regroup. I don't want to deal with this shit right now. This is not. Did they talk to you too?
You handled it way better than I did because me personally, I just said one thing, and then because they have my address and everything name already, it's easy for them just to say, okay, you want the ticket, and then I was like, yeah, I'm protesting, yes, and then so they gave me the ticket. So it's all good though. If they didn't have my name, they would have had to arrest me. Of course, they probably would have, because that's why they bring the Harbor Patrol. If anybody refuses to give their name, they'll just detain them and get their ID. And if you don't have your ID, guess where you go? Yeah, get fingerprinted and all that stuff.
Oh yeah. That's where we're coming from, and this is just so ridiculous that this just continues to be a fucking thing. And I know there's bigger other problems in the world too. I don't mean to just woe is me this shit, because like there's bigger problems of what we're doing with other countries with our taxpayer dollars and that whole pie chart and all that stuff we talk about. There's huge problems, but this is one of them, and it is connected to some of the best stuff we do have in this country, which is our shared public spaces where we can come out and do this, communicate with each other. We made this point ad nauseum at this point, but it continues to be true. That like this community canvas, like, you know, this is how we come out and have some connection with people. Look at this thing, you know. Obviously this is all ridiculous. Obviously I don't think this is the people who like wrote that ordinance are really like, yeah, this is bad, we don't want to see this out here. I don't know why they do things like that. This is insane to me that this entire area, they're like, nope, you cannot express yourself there. And we'll put, you know, it says it all in the ordinance. Look at how huge this area is. Nope, nope. And by the way, none of these people are expressing themselves either. These are what? Are these just what do they look at these people as doing? Like, it's just so crazy. It so shows the inadequacy of our laws, of verbal language to describe reality. I don't know what the next step is. This is frustrating though. But when you see this entire area, and you said you cannot express yourself here.
You
as
can.
a citizen, okay, go ahead, you can.
You can.
But
the only thing we control is the time